these are different times. I've been covering this for a long time, but, these are times even I have not seen. Do you guys see a change that the film and the entertainment industry is going through? I'll give you an example. People not going to the cinemas, people staying at home watching just everything at home and just happy on Instagram, films not doing well. These are scary times also. But again, some films come and just break everything, box office records and reviews and everything. How are you actors seeing this change? Huma, if you want to start.
Okay, I'll start. Well, we're living definitely in very, very exciting times. And I think one has always seen that technology has such an impact on human behavior and human consumption. So what we're witnessing is not something new. I remember, my parents talking, about how the VHS business or like, having set-top boxes or all of that kind of stuff would be changing consumer habits. So definitely, for sure, I think every few months almost it seems like the world is changing. And hence consumer habits are changing. I don't, as an actor, as a producer, I don't see it as an alarming sign. I in fact think it's time for us to sort of dig deep in and really sort of connect with our audiences and being like, okay, there is a change. The change has happened, and perhaps with the with COVID and that sort of period, sort of consumer habits sort of have really, really changed. People were forced for the last few years to sort of be at home and sort of really watch a lot of content on their screens. So possibly also the kind of stuff that they have seen. Like I know my parents have suddenly they started watching a lot of Malayalam cinema that possibly back in the day they wouldn't have seen, or we all are watching so much like foreign language content with subtitles, which perhaps a few years back we were not like really open to. So what it really does is that the overall viewing IQ, if I may call it, has kind of, gone up. And that, I think, forces us as creators to sort of really look at ourselves and being like, okay, what can we offer differently to our audiences? We cannot pick up scripts that belong to even 2015, sort of regurgitated scripts and like, fix them and try and, put them out. I think audiences are going to reject it. They are rejecting it. And I think OTT has shown, that if you just make good stories, people will connect with it. I think what needs to happen is that the theatrical machinery has to sort of, and the gatekeeping over there has to sort of, match up to what the reality on ground is.
Right. Kritika, you are someone who transitioned from TV to OTT and movies so smoothly that we didn't even realize.
I did.
You made that change. Now, what all changes are you making because of exactly what Huma said, that, audience won't accept something that's slightly dated? Is this a scary time also, and is it a wake-up call as well? What changes are you making?
I also don't see it as something that's alarming. I think that the audiences have become discerning. They have a choice. And today, they want to only go out and spend that kind of money and time when something excites them. Right. So they go for scale, for surprise. They still go for emotions. And the story is now the hero, finally. And I think we've moved away. Of course, we still have stars, but I think we're moving away from that. Right from the buzz when a trailer comes out or just chatter about a new project starts, you can tell if people are excited or not. So they are making their decisions based on what they see first, which is great, which pushes us as creatives to do better. And for me, I think this is a great time because the format and the templates have stopped mattering that much. It doesn't, the length of something does not matter anymore. A lot of people ask me, what are the top 5 things you've seen this year? And sometimes they're all series. Good cinema can be in any length today because of OTT and because of how we're making these, films on web, series on web. Of course, there's the theatrical experience, and television has always been there. So there are more avenues, more opportunities, and that's not a bad thing.
Can I just say something?
Please.
I know we've had 2 chief ministers here since morning, but can we have the air conditioning back? Is there a reason? Yeah. Is there some kind of security protocol? We're just like melting over here.
Yeah, that's just the lights also. I'm sure they'll take care of it. Huma, are there enough offers and are there good offers?
For me or for...
For you, talk about yourself. Are there, I mean, the impression that everybody gets is that you all must be getting a lot of offers, बहुत सारा काम है industry में, OTT आ गया है, you know, things are crazy, like you all must be rejecting too many. Is that a reality that there are many offers, and also how many of those out of 10 would be an offer you will be like, okay, let's consider this?
Okay, so let me say this. I think statistically speaking, overall the kind of projects that are getting made, at least I'm talking about Hindi, have drastically gone down.
Gone down.
That they've really gone down. Which is really sad. It's very unfortunate. Maybe perhaps it's not for people like us because, you know, we've already been established or we are working. But I do feel for a lot of new people who want to come in, or for a lot of like daily wage laborers, it's an actual issue. Because if I'm just, again, like I'm saying, if for example there were 10,000 projects getting made, now that number is almost half of that. And we see that all around us. But having said that, it's also not that some बहुत ही दिमाग खराब काम हो रहा है, ऐसा भी नहीं है, आप लोग को तो पता ही है. I think, you know, constantly when we keep talking to you, I go and I talk to people, they're like, oh, why aren't you making this and why aren't you making that? I keep kind of getting that kind of feedback. I think there was a phase in which some really like great storytelling was being backed, which I think led to this sort of explosion of the OTT. But somewhere I think we're still again in the middle of a flux where we're trying to really understand like who it is that we are catering to. You know, and I think that's a very, very important thing. I mean, I think I started doing OTT just at the advent of it. When I did Leila for Netflix, I think I was the first female who was kind of headlining a show. And I remember at that point in time, I think I said this to you before, a lot of people were like, why are you doing OTT? If you do OTT, people will think nobody's offering you a film. You know, a Bollywood heroine shouldn't be doing all of that. And I was like, no, I'm watching some really cool content from all over the world. And that's where the good writing and the good directors and the good talent is sort of moving to. And that will definitely happen in India as well. And of course, we had this boom where, I mean, we can take so many names of like stars that have popped up because of OTT.
Just take the names.
I mean, I am a fan of like Jaideep Palawat and Vijay Varma. Yeah, Kritika, like everybody. I feel like there's just been such amazing, amazing talent and they've done some exceptional work. And but I don't know, somewhere again, I think a round two of that churning needs to happen. We need to reevaluate like, again, what are we making? Who are we making for? Because I feel like we're kind of slipping into a bit of a stagnation.
Right. No, what you're saying is right, and a lot of actors tell me this, ki kaam kam hai. Same question to you. Kaam kam hai. Are there enough offers and are there enough good offers?
Now, good offers is a different conversation altogether, right? Because also over the years, your filters change. What you're looking for from a story, from a project, that also changes. And I think that Uma's absolutely right. There was some incredible work in the beginning. We took some big leaps, and now we've just kind of like suddenly gotten scared or something. I think now people are investing in where a project is going to go instead of what that project is going to be. So unless you know the destination, which platform, what are they making, what do they need. So it's become kind of like now appeasing or sort of being made for numbers, for data.
Yeah, and I don't understand. I'm like, hate watching cannot be a metric we aspire for.
Yeah.
You know, cringe watching is not a metric that as an artist I want to aspire to do. Sure, is getting the numbers, so congratulations. But like, there are many things that make numbers. I don't want to be part of it.
Yeah, visibility is taking precedence. Right. It's just, that's more attractive to people because that gets money. And that's a scary place to be in.
Right. Right. You know, both of you have made it. Is it what challenge comes to your mind that when you came to Mumbai, when you came to become an actor, without connections, without a godfather, what's the challenge that you remember that you faced?
Just knowing people, having access. You know, access is the biggest thing. I think I've said this before. Even now, I feel there's so many rooms I don't have access to. You know, I feel so many projects will not come to me or will not get offered to me because I don't have access to those spaces. And it's not a problem. Like, it's not something that I like to talk about in terms of, oh, I'm such a victim. But I feel, but it's a reality and it must be stated as is. Yeah. But having said that, I feel like if you're just like bullish enough and stubborn enough, you know, you eventually keep knocking on the door. So either somebody opens the door or you break it down.
Right. So, Kritika, then what do you do? Like, does one message a director directly and say, hey, I would like to work with you? How does one get work? And this will just help younger actors also, what you tell them.
No, it's a little, it's not as simple as that. It's a bit like, it depends on the situation. If you know somebody's casting, you can message them. If you know them, it's easier. You have to first have the access, first have the number. Now, over the years, one has met enough people, they would remember you from something or some of your work, things get easy. But for somebody new, it's really hard to do that. I don't know if they'd get the response they're hoping for. And that's where access really, really matters. Also, just some guidance. Maybe mentor is the word, but just somebody who's been around this business, somebody who can tell you what to like. When I came to Bombay, I didn't know the difference between mediums. I didn't know what was different about being on television. I mean, of course, as an audience, I knew that, there are films and there's TV, but I didn't think there was a difference in craft and there's such a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Nobody told me that. I didn't know that for many, many years. So, yeah, but I think, yes, today you can reach out to people. Social media makes that easier for you as well.
So if a girl, boy from any other city wants to come to Mumbai, will you say yes, do it, and what will be your advice? What should they do?
Of course you should do it. You should follow your heart. I think I'll be the last person to tell anybody not to follow their passion or not to follow their heart. I think the most difficult thing to live with your entire life is the burden of unrealized dreams, or to feel like I didn't even try. You can fail and that's perfectly okay. But if you didn't even try, I think that guilt will be very difficult to live with. So I think, boy or girl, you should go to whatever city your heart desires and try for whatever vocation you want to do. But you have to understand that it's going to be a very uphill task. It's not going to come easy. I mean, we all love in popular media the overnight success narrative कि बस वो वहाँ गई और उसको message किया और फिर वो film मिल गई और फिर उसके बाद तो then you become this big star. But I think it makes for great like headlines. But it's like seeing the iceberg just and judging it just by the tip of it. There's so much more that's underneath it. There's years and years of like hustle and toil and hard work and building your roots and understanding which nobody sees, which nobody captures, which never gets talked about, which possibly an article, an interview can never really encapsulate. And I think as long as you're in it for the long haul, just remember it's a marathon, not a sprint.
But I see a lot of young people spending more time creating content these days. Of course, create content if you are passionate about it, if you like it, for the money that is in it, for popularity that comes with being a recognizable face. But I see a lot of young people doing it now in the hope to get noticed, or for that one video to go viral, or to be cast in something because of their Instagram following. I think that is a waste of time, in my humble opinion. I think it's much better to come to Bombay, do something really around films, whether it's assisting somebody or just auditioning every day. That is much better, because at least at the end of that, you come out a better actor, a better performer. But I see a lot of people seeing, again, success stories where somebody got spotted and somebody got this role because they had these many followers. And a lot of people have started doing that. And I've also seen some people break down. I don't know if those videos have come on your feed, but, of people just breaking down and saying it's not working out. I think doing it the old school way, coming to Bombay, if you can. I know it's not easy financially and otherwise, but doing something about or around acting is so much more productive if you want to be an actor. If you want to be a content creator, sure.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, because I feel like somewhere along the line, the lines between being an influencer and going viral and an actor have kind of blurred. But I mean, I also don't necessarily blame the people making that content, because वो बेचारे तो they're looking for access ना, तो उनको जो समझाया जाएगा वो करेंगे.
Correct, but
I don't
that
judge
is also
the
not
executives,
easy.
the people who think कि somebody should be cast not for their acting talent, but for being viral. Like I judge those people actually, because you're the decision maker.
But then, What about sustainability, you know? You want to be in this, you have to think about longevity. Like you said, it's a marathon. If you want to come here and make a career of it, that one break is not going to do it. You have to keep proving yourself again and again and again.
Right, and this what you said. Does it happen that people will come and they'll think they'll hang out at a Starbucks in Warsaw or be at a Starbucks below Red Chili's office, and someday Karan Johar will come and spot you and say, "Chalo, isko hero
Well,
bana."
it
I
has
don't think
happened.
Karan Johar goes to Starbucks.
I was spotted outside my college in Delhi. So,
You were spotted out to college.
But you're so pretty, yeah.
Yeah, that's everybody in the room agrees to that. I've done actresses roundtable. You both have been on it. The one topic that we discuss every year, because we want to keep the conversation going, is pay parity. Today, now that I'm sitting with y'all in 2026, where are we? Will Huma and Kritika, if y'all are in a movie or a web show along with a male actor, same, everything is same, role, the number of days of shoot, will you all get paid the same amount? I can see Huma has an answer, but
I think it depends on the producers, actually. I'm not very qualified to answer this because when I've been the lead, I've been paid more, and then, when you're in an ensemble, it's different, and, there are those things. But I also want to say that we talk about pay parity, and there are many examples, and a lot of stars have also said that it's not the same when you're both indispensable. There is a difference between what the male actor gets and what the female actor gets. But I also feel that we must extend that conversation to parity on other fronts as well. What about screen time? What about complexity of character? What about marketing? There is so much more that if you compare what is given to a male lead, a lot of the times the female lead does not get that.
Huma?
Yeah, because films and series are, made only for the male gaze, I guess. And women are just accessories to that journey. And that mindset is so deep-rooted and so entrenched that it's just bizarre. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Which is why I always say, don't ask the women about pay parity. Next time you have guys, just be like, why aren't you offended that your female co-star is not getting paid as much when clearly the project is, mounted on both of you. Or, for example, there are enough and more examples of women just being used as a titillating tool, or just somebody who's there singing and dancing to help the guy on his journey to, beat up the bad guys. And I'm like, no, boss, I can protect myself, and I can also beat up some bad guys. You just have never given me that space to express myself. I don't need to just be waiting for you, or like longing for you or showing you hope. What about you doing that for a change for once in my narrative?
Is
I also
that
think
one of...
Sorry.
Please.
Projects like, for example, Maharani or the Great Shamsuddin family, or,
Yes.
you can't look at these because, of course, Huma is the lead of Maharani. So she's going to be paid like that. We have to look at projects.
If another
where-
guy was doing season 5 of Maharani, I think he'll be paid far more than I'm getting paid.
No, I don't think so. I think you would be paid more. I don't think so. Not on Maharani, no. But we have to look at some other, like for example, we all know that a lot of stars get profit shares out of collections. How many female actors can command that? So, yeah, I think that comparison has to happen on projects and between
And if she
people
asks for
where-
it, she'll be called difficult.
Of course. Even if she didn't, she'd be called difficult.
Right. So, what, is that one of the reasons that you became a producer and you want to produce? Is that the next step, that let's do our own thing?
हिंदी में कहावत है ना क्या विपदा में आपदा. You guys understand that?
I was thinking, bell mujhe maar.
Also that. I think the idea is, I think eventually all actors want to, control IPs, want to control the kind of stories you want to tell, how you want to tell them. It's very difficult, guys. It sounds very cool to sit over here and, say it in this, but it really I'm graying faster than I want to. But it's a lot of work, but I think it's also a lot of satisfaction. So my production company, Salim Siblings, is my brother, Saqib. And I think both of us have had that journey, quintessential outsiders, this thing where you are like, you get that initial success because, people feel you have that talent, but then of course there is a ceiling that's always put to you, and then you're always like, but why am I not getting that opportunity? And both of us are not the kind of people who would cry about it. We would be like, okay, what can we do about it? So I think turning producer came from that sense of like, okay, we want to tell our kind of stories, and we'll even if it takes time, even if it's difficult, even if it's uphill, even if like every single time we go out, people are like, "Kyun kar rahe ho? Kya problem hai? Acha to chal raha hai." So you're like, no, but like, I mean, it's something that I want to do because I feel like I'm not just here to be popular for popular sake. I want to create impact stories. I want to be part of impact narratives. I want to tell stories that, after like 10, 20 years I retire, I look back at my filmography and I'm proud of the work that I've done.
Right, like both the titles that you mentioned, The Great Shamsuddin Family and Maharani. I mean, Maharani, imagine this is when it started. Was there a plan to make season after season, and did you all know it'll become very successful?
Oh, not at all. Nobody believed in that show, I think. In the sense, like, it was this tiny show, and I don't think anybody thought something was going to come out of it. And till I think even when the show launched, and I think the first couple of reviews had come, they were not very favorable to us. So, in fact, we were quite depressed. Ki, oh, maybe the show's not going to do that well. And I think Thursday it had dropped, but by Sunday afternoon, I started getting so many calls and the numbers started coming and you're like, oh no, people are really watching it. And it is, I think, one of those rare shows that the writing is so supreme and the direction and, Mr. Subhash Kapoor, his entire team of like writers, and every season we have a new director, but they all are so incredible. And there's so much attention to detail. And I feel like the beauty is, of course, the backbone is the writing because they never, like we talk about ideas like women empowerment or like, we talk about representation of women in politics, but you're always talking down to people. You're talking down to the demographic because you feel like, oh, they're not there where you are because you've just probably read more books or you're more educated than. But they actually wrote for those people were actually in a language that they would understand. And I think that's very, very difficult. Right. We do a lot of like Heartland shows, but the misogyny is so prevalent. Here was a Heartland show where it was not misogynistic, it was not patriarchal, but it spoke in a language that was understood by the people it was meant for.
Right. When The Great Shamsuddin Family dropped, and I watched it, and I was going to record my Best Actress Roundtable just 2-3 days after that. And I called Kritika. I said, "You have to be on it. I know it's a very short notice. I don't want you to think that I'm calling you last minute. Ki someone else dropped out, so you come." But of course, we did a wonderful show that time. But what kind of reactions you still get? We were sitting in the room behind, and everybody was talking about that. That has changed things. And tell us, how does something like this get made?
With great difficulty. It took Anusha about 7 or 8 years to make this film. Same, when it got made, we didn't know where it was going to go, what was the home for this film, who's going to watch it. It's a really small film, hardly any marketing, nothing really. But the great thing about web is that people keep discovering things for like months and years, and that's lovely. And right now the film is traveling the world, it's being screened at different film festivals, and it's so nice that women world over are connecting with it. For me, it really changed something. It's made me braver. I'm doing another indie film because of the love that Shamsuddin got.
Wow.
It gave me the confidence to take a chance. And what about those small, those small films? Where are the small films? They've just disappeared. Those mid-budget small films have absolutely, like you don't see them anymore. And there's a space for that. And I want to be part of those. And Shamsuddin is testament to the fact that people also want to watch emotion. They want to watch something warm, heartwarming. They don't just want to watch crime. They don't just want to watch spectacle. Of course, there's a place for that. There's a huge space for that right now. But what about a heartwarming comedy or a family drama? Why aren't we making more of those?
Right, but will you balance it with something commercial as well through the year if you're doing 2-3 projects, one for the commerce and one for your artistic satisfaction?
I don't choose things like that. Like that's never a thought when I'm choosing to be part of a film or a series. But it happens sometimes on its own. Like Matka King came out and many more people watched it.
Right.
So in terms of reach, that was maybe more commercial, you can say. But they're both special to me. I like the stories and I would still go back and do them.
Right. Right. Producers Guild issued a statement recently saying they have very valid concerns that the industry is going through a turmoil and, actors should not back out from projects very fast, like, just before shooting. Not talking about any particular case, but as an actor, if you have signed something and you suddenly change your mind or you don't like the script suddenly, what is a good time professionally to back out from a project?
I think, see, when we make films, it's a very, very long and a lengthy process. And there are many, it's a very difficult journey where essentially the coming together of a whole bunch of people, is contingent to what their working relationship is going to be. It's very difficult to comment on A, B, C, and I wouldn't want to do that. It's not my place. Having said that, I can only talk about my personal experience. Whenever I've, felt that, I mean, we're in creative discussion or meetings or narration, and I feel like, no, this is not something I'd like to do, I'd like to inform them well in advance because that's just the standard I hold myself to. But it has also happened with me that many a times, I've been replaced for a film and I've got to know about it from the papers, and they didn't have the decency to inform me as well. So I think it's really a question of ethics, and I cannot judge on any situation sitting from the outside because one doesn't have all the information. But I feel like we all have our own moral compass and standard that we should hold ourselves responsible to.
Right. Kritika, you want to add something?
Same, I've been on both sides of this actually. Very early on in my career for a TV show, I had absolutely no negotiation power, but I said yes to something and I didn't want to do it. And I had an honest conversation. It was early days and they were kind enough to let me go. And I've been replaced. Some things have not gone on floor even after signing. I've signed contracts, multiple film contracts, and none of those films have happened. So I think for everybody involved, it's great if people uphold their commitments. I do too. I take professionalism and my conduct on set are very high on my priority list. I think I bring that to the table, so I expect the same.
Right. What's the industry has some things that a lot of actors tell me, say there's a pap culture which is just increasing by the day, which has become a part of a system also and part of commercials as well. Social media has gone in another direction. You have to post, you have to, be there, out there. Are these distractions, or is there any change that you would like to see in all these systems that are going right now? Including, I'm talking about everything, paid posts, all kinds of things, just putting 4 stars for every film. Is there any change that you expect, that you'd like to see?
Initially, again, like most things, this was great. It was great because visibility, because you were able to connect with people, audiences could see their favorite actors. But now I think one needs to differentiate. I am very clear in my head that this is not part of work. This is great, but this is not work. Being seen or being visible does not mean being relevant. And when I say relevant, I mean as an actor, because that's what's important to me.
Correct.
So right now, what I find really scary is how there are these big narratives online that are formed because of PR like this, and you don't know what's organic, what's not. It could be good or bad, but everything stays on the internet. And that narrative is not just based on, earlier it was about somebody's body of work, or for women, how they look.
Right.
But now it's about every aspect of your life, and if there is a narrative that is attached to you, it's very hard to move away from it.
Right.
So it's just, these are like crazy times. You can't tell what's real, what's not. And when everything can be manufactured, it kind of loses its sheen. So for me, I'm not really attracted to it.
Right. Huma, what is the one thing no one prepares you for? When you go become an actor, go to Mumbai and, you start getting work, what are the few things that you come to your mind that nobody prepares you for this?
The work hours.
Work hours.
Work hours, they're crazy. I feel like as an actor, like at least I don't have an off button. I'm always working, like in my head at least. I'm either working on a project, or I'm reading a script and assessing, do I want to do it, or I'm doing promotions for something, or then I'm supposed to go somewhere and attend something, or come for a talk, and everything is contingent to like, there's no off, like you're always in service of the work that you're doing. And I feel like, I used to think, I'll be an actress and it'll be like, I'll just do my hair and makeup and, go on set. And, you have all these, I don't know, at least like growing in middle class Delhi, you had these ideas of what a Bollywood heroine's lifestyle would be like. And it was quite, it was more cushy in my head than what it actually is. So whenever someone asks me, kaisa chal raha hai? I'm like, अच्छा चल रहा है, मजदूरी चल रही है. I feel like a, mazdoor.
Right, you know, when you say hours, it also means shooting hours. It also means once you're on a set.
No, I feel like overall, of course. See, like I mean, your work day doesn't stop for me at least when I've stopped shooting. Uh, you know, it's also like your other life around you. You know, that happens. It could be that I'm shooting a project, but somebody reached out to me to read a particular script or to hear a narration, or I may have certain brand engagements, or I may have to just turn up somewhere because of a social thing, which is why I hate shooting in Bombay because people like. I just like to go outdoors because then you're like, okay, I'm shooting and I'm not in the city, so I can't.
Can't.
Because when you're in Mumbai, you also have to run a house, and
Yeah.
you know it's all of those things as well. But yeah, so I feel like you're always in work mode.
Right. You know, you've done TV, and we are told working hours there are crazy. Please tell us, what are those like? What were those like?
Oh my God, I've said this many times before, but I entered a set on a Tuesday once and left the next Tuesday.
Oh.
Yeah, a studio. So we basically like, somebody used to hold my head while I would nap and they'd do my makeup and I'd go back on set. Shower there, sleep whenever you want to and...
That is.
I've done double shifts, like
Yeah?
and as recent as like last year.
What?
Yeah, because it was nobody wanted to do it like that, but
Right.
I was shooting for Delhi Crime in Mumbai, and we had a short schedule for Toxic at the same time. So I would shoot for Delhi Crime, finish, drive, reach the jetty, take the jetty, go there, get ready, do 2 or 3 shots back. So I did this some 2, 3 times in a week.
I did Bambai Meri Jaan and Bheed like that also for a few days. Same. Shoot, take a flight, night shift, take a flight back, come back.
After a point, I'm just sleeping like that on set. I don't care. Like,
But yeah,
take
but now it's
pictures of me.
there and thank God. Because I don't know how I did it early years. I cannot. And
Caffeine and
I will not.
paychecks.
Is it possible to do one? Is it possible to do one film at a time? Because people will say doing 2 films is self-inflicted, right? You have signed 2 films, you have to do those 2 films.
I enjoy it.
Doing 2 films? No, I'd much rather do one.
One at a time? Right.
I don't know. I'll be like, I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah? That's amazing.
Right. You know, I've been seeing this on...
Are you a reader? Sorry. Are you a reader?
On
You
and
read?
off. I'm very embarrassed, but it's really gone down significantly because audio-visual has spoilt me. I am just binge watching things, but I've come back to reading this year.
No, the reason why I ask is because I feel like when I'm reading also, I always read 2 or 3 books at the same time. So I'll
Oh, I
read a
don't.
book
I
till a
always
point,
read.
then I read the
I
other
don't do
one.
this. I read one book at a time. I watch one thing at a time. I have to finish that. It's all or nothing for me. I can't even read when I'm shooting for something because that will eject me out of the script or something.
Right. Huma, I'll give you Kritika's number. You all talk later. We have 6 minutes to go. I've been seeing
I
on...
meet you more than I meet her.
That's true.
It's true. I also meet you more. Rohit.
You know, one thing I've been seeing on social media, on Instagram for the past... can we get those red umbrellas? Huma, please tell us what is this? There were red umbrellas at a station, in metro station. What is happening with these? I just want to... We have got it here. Yes.
So guys, we've just invented something. It's never been done before. We invented a red umbrella.
You are at Hindu Huddle. You have to tell us more. You have to give me the headline.
Can I just sit like this?
Like I said, there's a timer. Yes. What is going on here?
So basically, this is for my film called Baby Do Die Do.
Baby Do Die Do.
It's a film that Saqib and I, my brother and I have produced, and we are releasing it on the 3rd of July in the theaters. And the significance of this red umbrella is that we were running this campaign where we were like, I'm playing a deaf and mute assassin, a deaf and mute hit woman.
You're a hit woman.
Yeah, and her gun is hidden in her red umbrella.
Ah.
And this is how she gets by in the crowded city of Mumbai, and she executes her next hit.
Did you enjoy playing a hit woman?
I loved it. Why should boys have all the fun?
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's a cool one. So
Would you like an umbrella?
Give it to Shah Rukh Khan.